Hi everybody, this is Odd Samurai, and today I'm going to be reacting to ReZero, Season 4, Episode 9. So, oh boy. I feel like this is going to be one of those pre-episode discussions that might go up to like 20 minutes. There's just so much to say, but like I didn't even know whether to start, chronologically throughout the episode, or just, go in parts of what I want to talk about. But I guess it's easier to go chronological. So yeah, we got Subaru 2 introducing himself, and he starts, going on about pop culture references that these characters don't know, and that gets Emilia to say, "You are definitely Subaru." I'm relieved to know that. And it's not the only time they'll say something like that. Both Beatrice and Julius later on will also make the comment that, even if you've lost your memories, there's that part of you that we all know, and that's the reason we stay with you. Like, even if, you've forgotten your bonds with us, you're still the person that we consider a friend. Or, some of these relationships are complicated, but, around that. But yeah, I really honed in on Emilia's reaction here when she slaps her cheeks here, but there's also something to be said about Beatrice's. When she's like, "Oh, you're such a troublesome contractor." And Subaru doesn't get it. He's just like, "Contractor?" And oh man, yeah, Beatrice getting so sad about that. Now, it doesn't last long, it's just like a few seconds, and then she kind of just composes herself and tries to, just like Emilia, put on a tough front and not let her emotions show too much as to not overwhelm Subaru, which is, it's nice, but things happened that it didn't really help in the long run. Hopefully it will, right? That it'll it'll sink in with Subaru that Beatrice, Emilia, and we can include Patrasche here, since she is here in the green room. All the people that are here when Subaru wakes up, they're, people that can 100% be trusted. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure Beatrice must have felt a lot of emotions there, considering how much it took Subaru to get her out of the library and go on adventures together and basically be, his partner in crime, only for this to happen. But Beatrice is not giving up on him, and I love that. I love their dynamic so much. And I remember, that one line in Choose Me, when he's like, Subaru Natsuki will be the type of person who, no matter how many years pass, he'll never turn into sepia. And, it happened the other way around. He forgot. Also, when he does the cool, please give me your names. At first, I thought that the reaction from Emilia was because she was sad, like another reminder that, oh, right, he doesn't know us. But I think it's also the recognition that he's done this before, at the end of arc 1. And it's more so a bit of a comfort that even, there are some things that Subaru will do exactly the same, regardless of the situation. Also, I said I was not gonna look too much at the opening, but I couldn't help it, so I'm just gonna say that, yeah. I was like, I'm just gonna bring up the Gluttony Archbishops, because they're the only ones we know that have taken people's memories. If we are going to ignore Pandora, because, she's just there. But, all the Archbishops of Gluttony are in the opening. And then at the end of it, you see someone in the maid outfit in front of Subaru, who I assume is Rem. And then the background there looks like what you see when Rui transformed or untransformed at the end of season 3. So yeah, now I'm feeling like it's more likely that they're involved. So we get Subaru 2 getting acquainted with everyone else. And yeah, Julius is very, very affected by this. Yeah, okay, then we have Ram having her scene with Subaru when she's really insistent that he's putting on an act. And she brings up a good point. Like, he's been known to try and carry everything by himself and letting other people out of the loop because of it. So, like, because of that, I did entertain for a little bit that Ram could be right. But no, it was her desperately trying to reassure herself that Rem hasn't lost someone who meant a lot to her, and vice versa. But also to Ram as well. Subaru is a genuinely important friend as well, and someone she can rely on and trust a great deal when things go awry. So then Julius introduces himself, and he says, we are something like friends. And Subaru kind of like sweats, and he's like, yeah, nice to know you. But why didn't you sound very sure of that? And Julius is not the one to answer. Emilia says there's no need to worry. You and Julius are very good friends. And for some reason, Meili just chimes in as well. But I feel like something like that is one of the things that would exacerbate Subaru's overt paranoia later on. Like, why can't you say you're my friend? If you're not so sure, then I can't trust you. And then Foxidna says that she's not Anastasia and brings up her name. Emilia says, like, me and I think Subaru were tormented by someone named Echidna. So her saying I think does confirm that Subaru and her haven't really communicated about what happened in the graveyard. Once again, showing that there's a lack of communication, even though their relationship has really improved since then. Then Subaru says like, there's just no good news. And Emilia takes it upon herself to try and cheer everyone up. Feeling sad forever won't get us anywhere. Oh yeah, and this is like the second time it happens, but Subaru calls her Emilia-chan. And the first time she got really sad about that. Because, you know, from season 3, we get to find out how much that means to her. I have the season 3 episode 8 scene here, so let me just quote her. Subaru calls me Emilia-tan and I don't dislike it. When Subaru calls me Emilia-tan, his voice is so full of feelings. And when he just calls me Emilia sometimes, it's always obvious it's a special moment. There's no way that's meaningless. A name should have thought behind it. So yeah. Even though she doesn't fully understand why Subaru calls her by that honorific, she understands that there's some thought and feeling behind why he does so. And it's become something special because it's something Subaru only does with her. It's a type of special treatment that Emilia has come to accept and welcome. And then going back to last episode, she says, I've been taught all along that it won't do to give up. And she looks at Subaru. And of course, he wouldn't know that she's talking about him. But he still shows a determined expression nonetheless. Because he agrees. And then he follows her lead by trying to unite everyone and being like, okay, maybe I can be helpful, I can come up with some ideas that are not bounded by the rules of this world. Which is kind of crazy that at the beginning of this loop, he said like, oh no, I think it's the second one. But he does explicitly say like, I'm not from this world. And no one says anything. Okay, so yeah. He was found passed out in the middle of just looking at books. But it is a little weird why he was just in the middle of the room, in that circle-like thing. But there were no books around him. The books were just, like they'd fallen just outside of the bookshelves. But he was pretty far away from them. So I don't know, that could be staged by the culprit. Though I still think, putting aside my theory that it could just be the tower itself because he broke a rule. Or, it's Subaru pushing himself through magic in the tower, or miasma. I think, putting that aside, I'll discuss later who we could be if it's not something like that. But yeah, we see Subaru just going around on his own, and he's like, why can't I use the whip? Shouldn't my body remember? Why can't I use magic? And then, as he's starting to feel down, he says, it's okay, this will work. Even in this world, I should be. And he doesn't finish the sentence, but I feel like it's the sentiment of like, even if I was a loser or, good for nothing in my original world, in this world, I should be loved I should be considered a hero, not simply out of his own, wishful thinking, but also from what other characters have already said. So that's gonna start to add up, on separating himself from our Subaru. And that's gonna definitely take a toll on him, trying to live up to the idea of what, these characters have in their head of who Subaru is. And the idea of this very much still super strong depression and self-hatred in this Subaru, and not being able to understand how he could be someone that all these people could respect, admire, love. So yeah, he gets pushed up the steps. Very suddenly, and he thinks he's had a prophetic dream. He tries to tell Subaru, not Emilia and Beatrice, but he cuts himself off and just says, "I've lost my memories." And he realizes no one knows about this. Subaru Natsuki didn't tell them about this power. What the hell were you thinking, Subaru Natsuki? So, he has no idea. That is not because Subaru doesn't want to, but it's because he physically can't. And so he's already judging our Subaru's way of thinking and acting, but also applying it to himself, being like, okay, what is the reason he didn't tell them? What if he didn't trust them? Then I cannot tell them either. And so he keeps it to himself. He has a little bit of a back and forth with Shala and Mei Li because he stays behind thinking about this, making a scary face. And he says, if I did, did I make a promise or something? How the hell could yesterday's me have been so careless? And Mei Li says, I do agree that yesterday's you was careless. So that's a little suspicious. Like, sure, she could just mean that, of course, you're lost your memory, you're very vulnerable and easy to take advantage of. So that's just what she means. Doesn't necessarily mean she had something to do with it, but a little suspicious. And then he resolves himself to tell everyone else what the prophetic dream, and he hears all of their voices talking about him. We don't see any of them, so to me it's just, there's something about it that just, I don't fully believe it actually happened. I think it's something else messing with Subaru, but either way, I don't think any of them said something that horrible. Well, except for Futsen, I think, kinda, saying it's too dangerous to keep Natsuki with us any longer. So, like, what? She just wanted to abandon him in the tower? And then keep going without him? Yeah. So I'm just gonna say, like, if this whole conversation did happen between those characters, I think out of everyone here, Futsidna is definitely one of the two people who I suspect. Motive? She did not trust Subaru as far as she could throw him, and she was scared of him. So if she could get rid of him, that would be beneficial to her. she doesn't have to stay with this anxiety of like, what could he do, you know, with all this knowledge that only he seems to have and no one else. But yeah, Julius kinda agrees, but I don't think he's being malicious. I think it's just kinda, you know, doing what Subaru did to him, basically, of like pushing him from away from danger and treating him like he can't handle this. And even though he's doing it for his own good, it would definitely be a sign of, you know, not trusting Subaru enough. And of course, Emilia and Beatrice both stand up for Subaru, but to him in that moment, it's just not enough. The fear and just sense that he cannot trust any of these people. You know, they don't see him as reliable or someone that, you know, would be helpful. It's just making him think like, oh, they were just faking everything that they were saying then. It's just making all of Subaru's insecurities and worst fears just go up to 100 right now. Considering that he does not know these people. And in comparison to Arc 1, he wasn't being the only one targeted. Here he is. And he's surrounded by people he doesn't know. Whereas in Arc 1, he spent a good day with Amelia. And then later with Felt and Old Man Rom. And he could tell that they were good people. Whereas here, he just hasn't been able to have that. Well, once again, he gets pushed off the staircase. And this time we do hear steps. And when he falls, he can hear what people said. And in one of those, it's Emilia saying, "I'm relieved to see you're still Subaru." And he thinks, really? So, yeah. His self-hatred is really coming into the forefront. Not being able to believe when someone says something positive about him. Are you really relieved that this is me? Also, we hear someone that Subaru has not met. Where is it? Well, it's something like, our memories, what makes up a person? I'm paraphrasing because I can't find it, but I think that's Rui, which makes no sense, right? Since Subaru hasn't met her. But we don't know that because there's an obvious, you know, gap of time where we don't know what happened. So the Gluttonist could have met Subaru. Then he wakes up again. He tries to escape, going up, but he encounters Reed. And yeah, he's cruel to him because of him acting as a crybaby, but also scolds him because you're the one who chose the people you want to hang around. Well, this Subaru didn't, but he doesn't know that. Then he falls from those steps, and he thinks about his mom and dad. And I think this is the first time ever that we see Subaru think about them while he's dying. So that's new. I wonder why of all times. But I mean, considering it was just a few hours ago for this Subaru, it makes sense. Also, the mug information is new, I'm pretty sure. It adds a layer even more as to the guilt. Why he didn't say, ittekimasu. Then Satella comes out and tries to calm him down. Now, why did she decide to show up? How did she show up? I don't know. But Amelia retrieves Subaru and gets him back to the green room. And they all go to the library again. And Subaru gets out of the tower. Because mistranslation is not he wants to be killed, but rather he won't let himself be killed. At this moment, he doesn't have any emotional attachment to them. So he'll just leave them. Granted, he doesn't know the rules of the tower, but even then, I don't know how much he'd care if he knew. He's very lost right now. He doesn't have a motivation, a goal, other than himself, keep himself safe. So I wonder how things are gonna turn out, What's gonna make him change his mind, even if it's just a little, about the trust he has in these people, or lack of, and trying to keep them safe. So, I said 20 minutes? Yeah, well, it was longer than that, but, also, my other suspect is Mei Lee. She's nowhere to be seen on the last scene where they're all at the library. And we also don't know her whereabouts when Subaru lost his memories. But what could she have to gain about this? I don't know. But I'm keeping my eye on her. So, I yapped long enough. Let's get to this episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Now we got the right translation. I was just thinking, is he gonna get killed by a mobbyist? But then what would be... Oh? I said Mei Lee? I was gonna say, if he gets killed right now, what would be the narrative point of having Shaola transform? Oh shit. We haven't seen Mei Lee, so I don't know what killed the mobbyist. The Oiranverse. Oh man, this loop is gonna be painful. Writing your name, what does I say? Reform, trending, renew, everything I do for you, leave me like a weapon, let me meet my doom. Oh, ready to crave the desert sand. Get up. Oh no, he's going through this pathway. The same number as before. What happens if he, the miasma bursts out his most aggressive, ugly side, but he's by himself? Will he end up choosing death? Once again, he couldn't get rid of the fourth door. Huh? What? He was teleported back to the inside the tower? No, Subaru. Yeah. Anyone could be the killer in his mind. Oh my god, the voice acting. Oh, Shala is the first one he finds. Who killed her? Even though he was thinking of it, he still has a strong reaction to seeing someone dead. Oh lord. Oh, the Julius tried to protect Mei Li? Damn. Mm. Patrasche? Mm. No. Hmm. Oh, Patrasche is still saving him. What is that? Oh, Patrasche. Oh, she knew there was the secret passage there? Oh, shit. Yeah, there's no escape here. Oh, shit. That looked like Rem. That's gotta be you. Rui? Rui is posing as Rem? Oh. Oh. Oh, he stopped himself. Oh, yeah, of course. He'd be attached to Patrasche now. Patrasche died to save him after all. He's hiding his amnesia. Okay. Right. Wouldn't you like to know? Right, yeah. Mm, interesting with Shaola, he remembered her corpse, but not Ram. Uh, we don't get to see what the favor is? Oh boy. Julius is gonna think he's talking about something else. Yeah. I think he wants to get to the bottom of his "we're kind of friends" answer. Mm. Oh, Julius. Like, this is really helpful for Subaru, but... Oh. Oh, man. Interesting. So, what can he piece together from that? Ah, Shaola? Ah, that's the favor. Why Shaola of all people? That's right, that's right. Go ahead. Why would you say it like that? You should dream a little bigger. Oh. Oh? He actually gave her the hug. Um, that's why. Did Fluger never give her a hug? Mainly. Right. Yesterday feels like a long time ago now. What business? Whoa. More of the lost memories. What? What? What happened? Huh? Another gap in his memory? What? Did he do it? Yeah, she was choked. Yeah, I think he did. Uh, I am. I did not expect we'd get another memory gap like that. But okay. Well, now that somebody has died, I don't think we're keeping this loop. So the question is, what's gonna make it even worse for Subaru to die? So, like, I guess I can ask, like, who carved into Subaru 2's arm, writing Subaru Natsuki was here? Was it himself? If so, for what reason? What did he think was gonna be helpful about that? Also, I am not ignoring how that's basically what Flugel wrote on the tree. Except there it was, Flugel was here. So, okay, oh boy. So, how many loops is that now? We're in the fifth one now? Of, waking up in the green room with no memories. First one, he thought it was a prophetic dream. Second one, he fell very violently down the steps. Well, he was pushed. Third one was getting his head cut off. Oh, and then we're in the fourth one. Never mind. Right? Yeah. So, in the third one, yeah, let's, for now, call this person Fake Rem. She says, about Subaru asking, who are you? What the hell are you? She says, try to figure it out next time, hero. And I think the use of hero matters. After all, this person has taken the shape of Ram, and she called him that. Season 2, episode 1, during or right before the fight against Lai. And so it feeds even more into this gotta be one of the gluttony archbishops. Because as we saw in season 3, Lai was acting very much, in a way that imitating, or he was channeling Rem through her memories. And in one of those, he did call Subaru, where is my hero? Now, the bigger question is, how the hell did one or all three of them get in here? But I don't know how to come up with an answer for that. So going back earlier, I didn't actually think we were gonna visit the pathway with like the 3 doors that Subaru can just make disappear, where the, miasma gets the most dense. And I was expecting him to lose his mind and just, take his own life there. But it just teleported him back to the tower. So I don't know what the hell is up with that. I thought maybe if he, the witch's scent was on him more, he might be able to get through more doors. But that wasn't the case. So yeah, he was at his most desperate to survive, and also at his most, I want to say, it went even more than apathetic. It went to like, I'll do anything to survive, It's me against all of you people, and none of you all matter to me. So, I keep getting killed, so it's gotta be one of you. So I'll just get rid of all of you. So, there's none of you. And I'm sure that I won't be killed. Of course, he sees Shala first and sees the reality of what he was thinking of doing. So I appreciate that even though he went in with that mentality, he didn't actually get to act upon it. And by seeing the brutality of how they were killed, he calmed down a little bit. And instead of only projecting his anger outwards, he was doing it inwards. Yeah, Patrasche had to pay the price a little bit. I feel like she could have gone on longer if he hadn't stabbed her, but like, Subaru was in a very dark place. And it's because of saying that, despite Subaru attacking her like that, you could see it in her eyes, that she could understand that Subaru wasn't doing it because he hated her now, but he's just simply scared, like a cornered animal. And this is the way that he's going about it. And as much as it hurt seeing him treat Patrasche like that, I am a little glad that it was her that he bumped with. Like, she was like, it's a little, weird to say about an animal, but like, animals are pretty intelligent. She could really feel, and that Subaru didn't do it to be cruel, but out of a sense of self-survival. Though he was being selfish, it's not like I can't blame him too much for, his paranoia taking over. I don't give a shit about any of you. You're all just shoving your problems onto me. If you're so preoccupied with yourself, what about me? So even though it seems like Subaru just being selfish at the same time. Like, no. We all saw how bad of a time he had last episode. Plus the context of, like, you know, all these people know who he is. Or at the very least, a version of him. And he just doesn't have any connection with that. So, you know, why even try? For him, they're all, you know, putting on a fake act here. And so, it's better to just be alone than be with people who he can't trust and doesn't have any motivation to protect. But as he sees, Patrasche does all she can to keep him alive, because that's how much she cares. And it does make an impression on him. So he dies, goes back to the green room. For a few seconds, he does consider choking Amelia to death, but thinks better of it and gives her the benefit of the doubt. Thank goodness. That would have been awful to see. And all the hug that he gives Patrasche just warms my heart to, like, incredible degrees. After all, right now, that's his, you know, his anchor. That's the one quote-unquote person that he can trust with his life comfortably. Because after being stabbed, she still did all she could to keep Subaru safe. She's the one that Subaru feels like he can rely on no matter what. And you know what? He needed that, even if he can't really talk to her. Sometimes you don't need words for that. That's the bond between a boy and his dog, or in this case, a boy and his land dragon. Yeah, since they're not gonna check the books in regards to what happened to Subaru, it's hard to really tell what the timeline here is of where he usually gets pushed off the stairs. But either way, things went from 0 to 100 real quick with a melee, so I don't think we're gonna see him get killed like that in this loop. But so he knows that the voice of the person who was talking to him wasn't any of the ones here. So I'm a little surprised that he hasn't thought of the one person that's there but hasn't been conscious. Granted, if he tried anything, he definitely, you know, Ram would kill him. But just thinking about it, and I don't think it's Rem's VA, but still, it's a voice that he hasn't heard yet, and he hasn't heard Rem's voice. I like the conversation with Julius, even though I don't think this loop is gonna be a keeper. I still liked the little bit of insight we got here. and it was just more so of like, you know, Julius feeling inadequate and unworthy of being a knight, and feeling like Subaru is feeling that as well. Please don't make me feel more pathetic in your presence. When you mentioned what happened last night, it frightened me a bit. I didn't know what I would do if you apologized to me. If you had, how would I have responded? And it's like, I don't know. How would he have? Would it have been positive? Or would it have been negative? Negative and like, you know, don't apologize. It's just making me feel even more bad about myself. Or relief that Subaru saw that the way that he acted hurt Julius, and so he regretted it and has come to understand his point of view. Could be either, could be both. Yeah, I don't know why he picked Shaula of all people to trust. Well, trust is a big word, but just to have her there help him and figure out if Julius had something to do with his amnesia. And they had that combo of like, I just want to become someone who is convenient to you. And we get Subaru's low self-esteem coming in and being like, at first he's like, what? But once he gets thinking about it, he gives her the hug, because I want you to aim for something that's better than that, you know? Just being convenient to me, that doesn't feel right. I'm no one that should make you feel that way. So in a way, he's making Shaula feel like he doesn't have to put him in a pedestal, but at the same time he's coming from a place where Subaru doesn't feel like he deserves the praise and affection that she wants to give and receive. So it's, you know, something to keep in mind for Subaru's mental state. Because, as we've seen, our Subaru was just not giving Shaula the time of day, even though he did feel guilty about deceiving her, but that was about it. Outwardly, he didn't show any strong discomfort in regards to how much Shaula thinks about him, though, you know, Subaru, he was very much sure that he's not Shaula's master, so, you know, there's a bit of a distance there to put himself between so as to not affect him, but still. Our Subaru is in a bit more of a healthier place than this Subaru is. So it makes sense that he's like, you know, you need to stop worshipping me. I'll give you the hug, but it's because I don't think, you know, you need to put yourself down to put myself up. And then we get the melee scene, and I'm just confused. What the hell could she have meant on, like, you know, were you really serious when you meant, did you mean what you said last night? With the weird connotations in the lip licking. But then something happened, something activated in Subaru's brain that made him kill her. So did mainly have something to do with his amnesia attacks? I don't know. So I'm gonna leave this here and think about it some more, but really good episode. We stayed in Amnesia Land, and I like that we're keeping on exploring this side of Subaru. And I think for now that his lesson is gonna be trust your friends more, but also merging, or rather accepting, that he doesn't have to live up to people's expectations of himself. He can just be Natsuki Subaru. So if you enjoyed this reaction, please like and subscribe. Till next time, see ya.